Hello guys! Today Genshin Impact released a really interesting video showing all of the remaining Fatui Harbingers, and I found it very interesting and wanted to make a video about ranking each of these Fatui and a little bit of speculation about what number each of the Fatui is going to have. Now, let's start with the obvious, which is this guy in the center. He's obviously going to be the number one harbinger. This has already been confirmed by Tartaglia's side story, which named him. His name is Piero, and well, just like look at him. He's obviously like leading them in this cutscene, so it's very obvious that he is going to be the number one and probably the strongest out of all the Harbingers. Now, next, what's also obvious is we already know Tartaglia is the number 11, so he's the lowest of the Harbingers. And, well, he was the boss in the second chapter of the main story, so it makes sense. He's the first one that we actually fight and beat. We did beat Signora. No, we did fight or encounter Signora in the first chapter, but she was too strong then. And we did beat her in the third chapter. So it's very. I would. I don't think it's actually like implied that the number means how strong they are, but going by what we've done so far, I think it's pretty easy to assume that the numbers also mean ranking and strength. If it's not like that, then I would, rather than speculating their actual numbers, I would rate them more after their strength level in my video. So going by this, we also already know Signora being number 8. So it makes a lot of sense. You encounter her in the first chapter, you are kind of overwhelmed by her, and in the second you beat Tartaglia, so you get a little stronger there, and then in the third chapter you beat Signora, so you have like the development of the traveler getting progressively stronger. So that makes it very reasonable to think about it this way. Now, the next thing that we know for sure is that this guy is number 9. His name is Pantalone, and in the trailer he basically appears to be just some rich guy. It gets confirmed in, I believe, Yelan's side story. Now, I haven't actually beaten Yelan's character story in the game myself, so I can't really say a lot about it. But he does look like he's more a strategist who pulls strings from the back rather than an actual fighter, so it makes sense that he's a little bit lower ranked than Signora. The next thing that we already have confirmed is this guy is the number 5, the old man. His name is Pulcinella, and this was confirmed in Tartaglia's side story again. So I must say, going by these characters, he's one of the most interesting ones because if you look at him, he's just such a unique character, such a unique character type. Like, if you look at the 3 guys on the right, they're all kind of like having the Diluc body type, so makes it really reasonable to assume they're going to be playable at one point. Whereas this guy, he doesn't fit in any category. He's super unique, and it looks like he's not going to be like a fighter per se, so I could assume he has some kind of special power, maybe. He's like controlling monsters or something and lets them fight for him, but I don't know. Either way, we know he's the number 5, for sure. That's said in Tartaglia's side story. Another number that we know for sure is the one missing here, which is Scaramouche. He's number 6. And this also fits like in the power level category because we encounter him in the third chapter, but he's still kind of a bit too elusive. He's overpowering the character there, and we only get saved by Yamiko. So, considering that we're strong enough to beat Senora, but we kind of lose against Scaramouche, it makes sense that he's our strength level should be around number 8 or 7 at that point. So now the next question is, this is all the ones that are already confirmed, so those numbers are true, definitely. But next, it's not, it's gonna be more speculation, so take that in mind. The first guy that I think is going to appear in the next chapter is this guy on the right. He's Il Dottore, and he appears in the manga of Genshin Impact, which plays in Sumeru, and he's basically the main villain there. So I think, well, I'm not sure if game and manga are really like playing in the same universe, but since Sumeru is going to be the next story chapter, and he really looks in this trailer like he's going to like ready himself for what's there to come. So I think we're going to encounter him next. It could also be that Scaramouche becomes the main villain of Sumeru, because like we already met him, and maybe going by the levels, like beating number 6 next would make a lot of sense, going by just power levels. But Scaramouche, he went up with a gnosis, and Il Dottore here, he mentioned that he's like trying to basically get it to work, and considering the lore behind Scaramouche, since he's like another copy of Raiden, it would make very sense that he manages to make the use of the Gnosis himself. So I believe Scaramouche is going to either he's gonna be successful and he's gonna be like getting god levels of powers, which makes him way beyond level 6, the rank 6, or he fails at it and he becomes some kind of like abomination, something like that, which still is gonna have a lot of power, but probably can't control it. Either way, I think he might be way beyond level 6 when we fight him next, so not sure if Scaramouche becomes the main antagonist that we fight or it's Il Dottore. I think if we go by the manga, Il Dottore is going to have a presence in the next chapter, whether Scaramouche appears or not. So I put Il Dottore with the number 7. I put some marks around it because I'm not so sure entirely, but I think it makes the most sense to put him there because we just beat Signora number 8. So I think the next Fatui has to at least be 8 or less. And well, what better number to give than 7 then? I don't think he's number 10, especially since I mentioned that the 3 guys on the right, they have very similar body types, looking like Diluc's kind of guy. So I think it would be very weird if 11, 10, and 9 look so similar, and then like all the girls are basically lower numbers. I think they're gonna be more going for a mix there. So he could also be like number 4 or less, but I think it's more reasonable to think of him as number 7 and the next guy that we're going to encounter. Now, going by this, it's really hard. There's still the number 10 missing. And it's really hard to figure out what to do with the number 10, because after beating number 8, it's kind of number 10 is not gonna be a big deal anymore, is it? So it's really hard to figure out which role the number 10 is going to have. I'd more assume they're like, maybe they do something like you have to beat 10 and 7 at the same time or something, like 2 for 2 at once. That could be like a next level, but maybe they are going to have like a little less of a role, like maybe just, maybe they become a playable character right away. Maybe they are like on our side, or maybe they are just like a minor antagonist. But I can't believe putting like the number 10 Fatui as the final boss of the Sumeru chapter. That's what I'm going at. And well, if I look at who's left over here, I think the most suspicious one, or the one who's standing out the most, is the guy on the very left. If you go by names, he would be the Capitano, and it's very suspicious because we see all of the characters, all of the Fatui Harbingers, and we see all of their faces, but the one on the left is still like a mystery, and that could mean one of two things. Either he's like not that important, so he kind of looks like the minions, with the gun and with the staff Fatui. He kind of looks like those, so maybe he doesn't get a face because he's not important, or maybe it's the other way around, and he is so important that we are not allowed to see his face yet. And I am thinking that makes him either the number 10 or the number 2 of the Fatui. He can only be one of these. I don't think he's going to be anything in between there. It's clearly one or the other, but it could be this or that. I'm going with the number 2 because it's hard to believe that they put one character so unimportant into the Fatui Origins. They probably have a plan for all of them, so I think going with the theory that he's a very special one and we just don't get to see his face yet is probably more reasonable. So that still leaves us with the number 10. And also, if you notice that there's only girls left, and out of all these 3 girls, as much as it pains me to do this, I think she's the most likely to be the number 10 out of these. I think design-wise, I like her the most, but just looking at the 3 remaining, she looks like the least capable in combat. She looks more like a supporting role. Her name is not yet confirmed, I believe. Columbina should be her name. And yeah, just I think like if you look at the girl on the right, who looks kind of like Yula with white hair, she looks like just way stronger in combat. And the other girl on the left is having a giant dude carrying her. Looks very special, so I don't think a character with a special design like that is going to be the number 10, who is probably not going to have the biggest role of all of the Harbingers. So that only leaves her. And like I said, maybe the number 10 Harbinger is going to like come on our side right away, or maybe they're trying to manipulate us in some way because they're not like able to beat us face on. That's a possibility. And with number 10 given to her, there's only 2 numbers left, and it doesn't really matter which of these is which. There's only 3 and 4 left, and like it could be either way around. So the left one with the giant dude is Sandrone, called the puppet, so that's makes a lot of sense. It's hard to tell if the puppet is the big guy, which is carrying the girl, or maybe the girl is the puppet and the big guy is the puppeteer. That's a very big mystery still, but very interesting either way. So I think as special as much as she stands out, she's probably either the number 3 or 4. Doubt she's going to be the number 10. But the number on the girl on the right, which is Alecino, or the servant, this is still up to debate whether she might be the number 10. The servant could go either way, in my opinion. Like, we could be like Black Butler kind of thing, that the servant is actually the strongest in terms of combat power, or maybe it really means servant makes her less important, so she's the number 10, and the other girl would be number 4 then. That is my opinion, at least. So, did I mention all of them yet? I think I named all of them. The black-haired guy is Pantalone. And the old man is Kuchihara. Yeah, I think I named all of them. So that's how I think they're going to be numbered. Like I said, some things it's still a lot of speculation in there, but I think it's very likely to be this way. What do you think? You can post your own theory in the comments, or maybe you have some more knowledge that I don't have because I haven't read all of the Genshin lore that exists because there's like too much. And I haven't played the game as much lately, so I don't know. But this is really the Fatui Harbingers are one of the most interesting things in the game, and that's why I might get more active again now. So that's all I wanted to say. If I make a ranking like just by how much I like their designs, it would be like similar. The guy in the middle, Piero, would still be number 1. Number 2 would be the girl on the left with the 10. And then the old guy, then the puppet, then the mystery mask guy with no face, then Signora, then the black-haired guy, then the white-haired guy, then Tartaglia, and the short-haired girl is the last one. Oh yeah, Scaramouche he's number 8 in my ranking of just how much I like him. That's it. So, thank you for watching, post your own theory, and goodbye.